Hi, sixth graders. Today is your vocab video, the second one. Now, I was hoping to have some sentences for you from your classmates like I did yesterday, but I only got 3 more sentences. And so I was able to find 2 of them and use them. I actually got a couple more, but they used forge in the wrong way, so I didn't want to use them incorrectly. So I'll let you guys know privately who you were. So hopefully you can fix that. And that's one of the words that I want to talk about today. Several people, just 2, are using forge in the sense that it's the word force. It's not force. 2 sentences said, I like the part in the book where they had to forge the girl to adopt a puppy. So 2 totally different words. Force is to make someone do something against their will. Forge has many meanings, but our meaning is to counterfeit, to copy with the intent to deceive. If you're going to forge a driver's license or counterfeit money or an ID card in World War II, because they had to have ID cards to say who they were and what nationality they were. So forge, and many people are using forge in the sense of heat and making something at a high temperature. That's not what this word is, so please be careful. Prejudice. You guys are able to say that I have a prejudice against something. You can. You can talk about a prejudice that has taken place in our country or in the world in some point in history, like the prejudice the Germans had against the Jews. We had our civil rights movement, so there were lots of issues with prejudice in our own country. But if we take it on a lighter sense, my husband and I were watching an ice cream challenge video series on YouTube this last week, and they compared all the different kinds of vanilla ice creams and they had a winner, then all the different kinds of chocolate ice creams and had a winner, and all of the fruit flavored and had a winner, and then all the ones that had miscellaneous items in it and they had a winner, and then they paired those off to see who won the most, or who won as the best ice cream. For the chocolate category, they allowed chocolate peanut butter ice creams to be compared with plain peanut butter. And to me, even though I like peanut butter, I only like it in some situations, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter M&Ms. But I do not like peanut butter in my ice cream. So I did not enjoy that part of the contest. I didn't think it was fair. But that's because I have a prejudice. I prejudge peanut butter before I even taste it. No part of me wanted to taste those ice creams just because I don't like peanut butter in my ice cream. But that's wrong. I may like it. But that's my own. So you can use prejudice in a light-hearted way. A lot of you guys are prejudiced against the Dodgers, or you're prejudiced against the Angels. And I had that growing up too. We were prejudiced against some sports teams because my dad didn't like them, so I didn't like them either growing up, even though I had no reason. And a lot of times that's how a lot of prejudice begins. We're brought up a certain way, or we're exposed to something. So underhandedness, you could use the word underhanded. It's just doing something in a negative way, a sneaky way. Now, if you watched our April Fool's video, there was a lot of underhandedness going on. I took Mrs. Mills' water bottle. She took my toy. I laughed at Coach Newton. I got up and poked him with a pencil, and I think Miss Lick threw a chip at me. So there was a lot of underhandedness going on. The word withdraw, in our sense, has to do with pulling troops out of a military situation. I don't mind if you use it as in withdrawing or taking out funds from a bank account. That's fine too. Browse, you guys use that one very well and all correctly, where you are looking through things, not necessarily reading for comprehension, but you're just looking, maybe to get ideas. You can browse when you shop. Okay? So I have 2 sentences that I'm going to use for you guys to choose the word. So here's the first one. When I went to the mall with my grandma, she said that it would only take 10 minutes because she was only going to... Is she going to forge something in 10 minutes? Is she going to have a prejudice against something? Is she going to withdraw? Maybe she could withdraw some money, but there's nothing else behind that. If you're going to withdraw, you're going to say what you're going to withdraw. So hopefully you guys guessed it. Her grandma was going to browse, and this sentence came from a tiger. So thank you for that. The next one, when a country is to blank from a fight, it usually means they have discontinued the war. So if we're talking about war and fighting, hopefully you guys can tell that the word would be withdraw. So this is a sentence from a jaguar. So if you have not done this assignment, you can definitely still do it so you can get credit for it. Just one perfect vocab sentence. All right, so I have some pictures for you since we don't have more sentences to go from. So see if you can guess what word is represented by the picture. Here's the first one. Can you tell yet? Can you tell yet? So we have some soldiers there. It looks like they're leaving. There's a helicopter in the background. Maybe they're in some kind of desert situation. So hopefully you guessed withdraw. They're withdrawing from this battle or this fight. The next one. And this one kind of gives it away, but I want you just to look. It's a documentation, and you know what? I just realized who is on there. I did not pick this for any reason other than it said the word forgery and it was a document. So I am not insinuating anything against our former president. But if somebody did forge somebody's birth certificate or marriage certificate and put erroneous information on purpose, that would be a forgery, which is another good word to use. You don't have to use the word forge. You can say that somebody was arrested for making a forgery of a marriage license. So I just realized that. Sorry, guys. The next one. This one is like a page from a thesaurus. We have a word that means double dealing, betrayal. I know we're missing some of the other words, but to be sneaky. Hopefully you guys guessed it, underhandedness. Okay, our next one. What does that look like to you? And this could be a noun, sort of, in this sense. Did you guess it? You're just kind of looking through the different apps. I could look up something specific. If it's not here, the word would be browse. But this is a web browser. It's what you use to look on the internet. Okay. All right, one more. Can you tell what it is yet? So we have a giant hand. I think it's a male hand. And it's stopping this female. Looks like she's professionally dressed. She has a briefcase. She may be a woman of color. So what word do you think this is? Prejudice, definitely. And she looks like she's dressed from my generation, sort of, what my mom would have worn in the 80s. And this was something that was taking place, prejudice against women in the workplace. Still happens today. Luckily, it's not as often. All right, so those are your words. Your vocab test is going to be on Friday. You'll get to pick it up in your packet Thursday or Friday, or it'll be on RunWeb if you're not going to come pick up work or waiting for it to be mailed. You can do the same that we did last time. Fill it out. Print is fine. Take a picture of it and send it back in. But please, I had 2 students that I had to ask them to clarify their sentences because I couldn't read them. One of the pictures was blurry, and somebody else, their writing was just really small, and I couldn't tell. So after you take the picture, please make sure you can read it or your parents can read it. Just saves me an extra step from having to send it back to you. I want to give you guys your proper grade right away. So make sure you write large enough, dark enough when you send it in. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow for our next lessons.